Well, Wilson, I guess it's exhausting watching me work all day, isn't it? Found you a nice place to spend the day taking a nap. Well, go ahead, you can go back to sleep. Don't wake up on my part. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So I'm finally back to work after a leave of absence for a few days. Dad and George have really knocked it out getting some of this bed back together. They got the sidewalls back in on each side, and now we're working on getting our cross members back in. So we're going to get all these laid back in. We've got them marked in the middle here. We've got our first one square and straight where we want it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch a string, and we've got them all marked center. So I'll line them up on the string, and then I've cut out some 2x6s that are exactly 8 inches. I'll just put the 2x6 between each one, tack it in place as I go, and then I can go back through and weld them all up. So it should make it pretty simple to get these all put back in. Now this is a 1/4 inch wall tubing. It is some heavy stuff. It is what, 2x5? Isn't that what it is? 2x4. 2x4 by a 1/4. So it's going to give us a good firm base for our 1/2 inch floor. 1/4 inch walls definitely made a difference. They are quite a bit thicker when you look at them on the truck now compared to what it was. So let's get started, and I'll talk about it later in video what my leave of absence was, but we'll get started now and get some stuff welded up and see how far we can get today. So this will be part 2 of the dump truck rebuild video. George, leave that open a little, please. Let the dirt out. So we need one more cross member cut. So these are 20-foot lengths we're getting them out of. Actually, it might be a little longer than that. But this is our floor, and this is our tubing for our cross members. We got some 2-inch angle to remake our mud flat brackets and things like that. George is going to go ahead and take the Evolution saw with the Diablo cutting wheel in it, and he's going to cut this for us. These blades work really well. This one's actually getting to the end of its lifespan, but it still cuts pretty good. I got a brand new one in the shop. It's holding up pretty well.
Only messing up.
What do we figure? That's 2 years old now?
Yeah, something like that.
About like that, 2 years old. It's missing a few teeth, but it's still hanging in there. It's still cutting well. So them Diablo blades are really good blades. Our chip tray shot out. Oh well, the bolt must have vibrated out of it, but that's pretty impressive for that many cuts on that blade to still cut that well. That's pretty thick tubing. So let's cut that like it was a construction grade 2x4. Pretty impressive. So I did purchase, and I'm anxious to try it, I bought what's called a track burner. For those of you who are not familiar with a track burner, it is a machine that you put on your plate, and it's oxygen and acetylene, just like the torch. You plug it into the wall, and it's a little trolley deal that actually carries a torch that goes straight up and down, or you can angle it to make bevels, and we will be able to rip the whole one side of this plate off to make our strips that we need for the corners of the bed, and to cut this plate down to size to fit in the bed of the truck. So I'm pretty excited about that. We'll have to get that set up, and we'll actually take the truck out, back the trailer in, do all of our rip cuts, cut out for around our cylinder that raises the bed. We've got that box in the bed we need to make it cut out, so that'll slide in around it, and then we'll be able to get this sheet in there. So some exciting things to come. I've always wanted a track burner. Sorry, I'm thinking clear and brush, but trench burner is what you pile brush in to burn it with forced air. Track burner is what you use to cut sheets of steel straight. So pretty cool technology. It's old school technology. It's not like your fancy plasma tables now, like Dylan or Digging with Dylan has. He's got a nice Langmuir table that he uses, but a sheet this size would never fit in a normal size plasma table that you'd find in somebody's shop. It'd take a pretty large industrial size plasma table to take that big a sheet of steel, because look at that thing. It's the size of the trailer almost. All right, let's get back in there and get some cross members in. Got the red peat running. It's on the low boy now. Looks pretty good. Got the 621 case wheel loader on it. Just picked that up yesterday. Dad and George did while I wasn't here. So, all right, let's get back at it. All right, we're gonna stretch our string. George has a nice loop tight in it. I'll hook it on a 1/4-inch bolt that I welded in. I just need to weld a bolt down that end to anchor our string to. Well, let's get started. Get these in place, get some tacked in. Show you how I'm going to do it. Pretty simple when it all comes down to it. Once you got everything measured out. So what we have done is we've marked center on all these cross members, and I cut some 8-inch blocks of 2x6. Just set it right down in there, right down in there. I've got my mark here, I've got my string under me. Just simple as that. So now I'll go ahead and I'll tack this one in. Put a pretty healthy tack on it. String's good. I'm not on it anywhere. Looks good. Now, also, I need to take this and chamfer this edge off a little bit, because if you make your tack too big, your block of wood's going to hit your tack, and then you're not going to get it. So I got to hold it over here a little ways so it doesn't hit my tack. But that'll work just fine right there. I'm happy with it. Let's make it snug. Good enough. Check our string. We're good. Alright, moving right along. Believe it or not, this 2x4x1/4 tubing is fairly heavy. So trying to get them moved where you want them is a little bit of a challenge sometimes, especially in this position. Sometimes you move it, you overpower it a little bit, you got to bring it back. That looks good. I have to move my welder here pretty soon. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them in so far. Whoops. A little hard on my string there. We're still good, everything's good. Alright, so I'm going to finish welding these in. And then I'll come back and weld them all permanently. This one, we're going to have to split the difference and put it in here. So this one stays here, and we're going to end up splitting the difference on the last one just to make the back part of the truck a little stronger. Beans, we're going to do the barn door style tailgate also. So we figured by the time we weld our gusset in our floor pieces and have that in there under the floor, it's going to make that wall a lot stronger. So we need to do some measuring and get that one figured out where I want it and get that one tacked in. Okay, I know I said in the beginning of this video I had a little announcement to make. Actually a pretty good size announcement, I suppose you could call it. But anyways, you probably noticed that I'm working all by myself here in the shop. Well, after the guys left, Dad and George. The reason for this is because I'm sticking around home. And the reason for that is because for those of you that have been watching the channel, you know that Madison and I have been expecting. Well, I got home last Thursday evening around 6:30, and I walk in the house, and Madison is sitting in the couch recliner there, and she's like, I'll get you dinner made. I'm like, okay, whatever, whenever you have time, no big deal. So she stands up, she kicks the recliner part in, and she's like, uh-oh. I'm like, what? And she's like, I think my water broke. I'm like, oh boy. So we were actually scheduled for an induction to have the baby induced that the next coming Tuesday. So we're like, oh, cool. Our baby's going to come natural, whatever, you know. So because I don't know if they can really tell the exact dates that a baby's supposed to come out and whatnot, and you know, the body works in mysterious ways. Sometimes it could have decided it needed out a little sooner or whatnot. So I said, well, we'll go to the hospital. So we packed everything up. Me, Mr. Procrastination, didn't have my bag packed. She had all of her bags packed, had everything ready, and I'm running around with my Carhartt backpack trying to stuff in stuff I need. Grab the essentials like the iPad, phone charger, camera phone, regular phone, grab those. I thought I better grab my safety glasses just in case I need them at the hospital. Something might need fixed. I didn't take all my pocket tools though, and I felt really naked without all the tools that I carry in my pocket because I'm like, what if I need to fix something in the hospital room? Anyways, whatever. So we get in the car, we run up there, they put us in the hospital. We wait, nothing happens. We're like, huh. So they're like, well, since she was going to have her labor induced Tuesday, we're just going to go ahead and do it now. I'm like, okay, cool. Whatever. We'll have baby over the weekend. Great. So they did all that. No baby yet. So we got to Saturday afternoon, and they're like, well, since she hasn't had her yet, we want to go ahead and we just want to do a C-section and get her out of there. We're like, fine. You know, we want to make sure baby and mom's healthy. We don't want to stress them. We're going to go that route. It's what the doctor says. I had all the faith in the world in Dr. Dunlop that was the doctor for us at the time. Great. So we go in there, and it was it was a lot to take in, I guess, going into an operating room. I've never been in one. I will say I was pretty nervous, a little, you know, shaky, stuff like that. And until I seen that little baby pop out, and I was just in awe of how it all worked. You know, I pulled Ralphie out of his mom out here, you know, my little bull calf, and that was a miracle too. And just to see a human baby be born, that's an extreme miracle. So they're like blue, and I'm like, is she okay? She's blue, and the nurse practitioner's like, yeah, they're blue when they're actually inside. I'm like, okay. And they're like, you want to cut the cord? I'm like, nope, don't want no part of that. Well, I realized when they pulled her out that her cord was tied in a knot, and they said that it was a miracle knot because if it would have pulled tight, we would have no baby. So there was something that was keeping her from being born, and it had to have been something between her arm not letting her come down the way she was supposed to and that knot in the cord that kept her from being born, and it kind of made it a miracle. Because if they said if that would have happened, it would have been terrible. So everybody's healthy. We're all back home. We did have to, I did have to be Mr. Dad for one night, which was pretty interesting because Madison had a few complications and had to go back to the hospital. So Tuesday night, I took care of a newborn baby all by myself all night. My parents did come and they helped me till about 10 o'clock. And I said, I think I got it. I think I'm good. We'll be okay. Mom's like, I'll spend the night if you want me to. I said, no, we'll be fine. I said, I got the hang of it now. I can make bottles. I can change the diapers and all that. So we're good. So that was a really cool experience. Uh, love the little thing to death. She is just so cute. Her name's Molly. We named her Molly. She's about this big, just a bundle of joy. I want to thank everybody that reached out, congratulated us. And I want to thank all my friends and family that offered to help and did come help. Really appreciate you. Couldn't have done it without our parents. And it's just going to be a fun experience. We're already planning all kinds of things for the baby. As far as when she also gets older, we're going to get her into 4-H, maybe show some cows, maybe some pigs. We'll see where it goes. But excellent experience. The nurses at the LaPorte Hospital were excellent. Just made me comfortable, Madison comfortable, baby comfortable. Great experience. So, all right, that's my big announcement. Baby Molly is here and is healthy. Mom's healthy. We're all happy. We're all back together at home. It's great. So, all right, let's get some welding done. It's going real good getting these cross members welded in. I'm up to where my lead's at, and I need to get out and move my welder around so I can get up in there, because that Art Captain lead's a little shorter than the original Lincoln. That is a very nice lead though. If you need one for your welder, I think those are like 120 bucks compared to like $400 for a regular Lincoln one, and it uses all the same consumables. Been a really good lead. It's just my only complaint with it is a hair short, but work with them. They'll eventually probably make longer leads. Our Captain's innovating every day with different things. So like that Cutmaster 55 plasma cutter, that thing has been excellent. I really like that plasma cutter, and it's not super big, and it's really been performing very well. But anyways, this is not an Art Captain paid sponsorship video. They just give me some of their products to try out. But I'm not obligated to even talk about them. So anyways, where was I at? Oh, yeah, I was going to touch on the sidewalls. Since I wasn't here to video these, George and Dad done them. You can see they are 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. The way they got them up there was they hung them a piece at a time from my 17 Z9A Hyundai Mini. Held them up there, got them in place, welded them in. Turned out real nice. So our friend Andy over at Pretty Sturdy Livestock Equipment has a Amish friend with a press brake that had the capability of bending them to match them to the original galleon design of this bed. So he shaped them. Now they're not identically the same, but they're close enough to work perfectly. We did have to trim a few things to make things work, and Dad still got a little welding to do on this side, but the walls are pretty much done. Now what else I wanted to touch on is you're probably wondering at what point am I going to start welding these cross members to the actual sidewalls. Well, these sidewalls are kind of drooped down a little bit, must just because of the weight and the flex. So what I'm waiting is for when Dad and George get back, we'll slightly jack these walls up, take the sag out of them, get them up just to where they belong on these cross members, and then I'll weld all them up. We're going to have to lift them up a little, and we're going to have to draw them in, because if I remember right, I mentioned in the last video that the walls did bow a little bit when we cut them apart, and I expected that. I kind of figured that was going to happen. It's kind of invasive to go in and just start cutting a bed apart. You've got the heat that comes into factor, the cutting, you know, you just got all kinds of variables that happen. The bed might have been a little bent, a little tweaked from the loads of stumps and stuff we had on it, and when we released the pressure off the floor, it bowed the walls. So we can draw them back, it's no big deal. Ratcheting chain binders are your biggest friend in the fabrication world, so that's no problem. After we get this all done, we're going to X this, support wall to wall, and then we're going to cut this out and replace this. This piece is laying right here. So that's it right there. That'll replace across the back. This other sheet is actually going to be the tailgate. So we are going to be rebuilding the tailgate also. So we will do that. Not in this video. This is going to end up probably this. I'm going to do these. This will probably be a part, and then we'll do a part of putting the floor in. And I'm going to do it in a couple part videos so it doesn't end up being a 2-3 hour long video. And it just makes it easier for me to edit and do other videos in between. So actually, I want to touch on another thing. You're going to be seeing a video of a ditch project that we were working on. And I think I mentioned in that ditch project that we were getting close to our baby due date. Well, I ended up cutting that video off and I said I'd do part 2. Well, I wasn't able to do part 2 because the baby came and I wasn't able to go back to that job. So Dad and George have been working on that job. If you watch that video, you'll see that we didn't burn the trees or the piles. The surveyor actually came back and had us burn those piles. So the piles didn't get left. I know I was really concerned in that video that we were going to have to leave the piles. The piles eventually got burnt. That's what Dad and George are finishing up today. So the piles did get burnt. We cut a deal with the surveyor and we burn them. So that's all cleaned up. So I'm not upset about that anymore. I was a little aggravated because I'm like, usually we've been doing this for 20 years and I've never left a pile yet that hasn't been burnt. So I like to burn them, clean everything up, clean slate for the next person. So, all right, I'm gonna get back to welding and get these cross members welded in, and then we'll see where this video goes from there. All right, they're all welded in. That looks good. Definitely is easier to walk on them now that they're fastened in there. But there's 8 inches between them. So that's going to make for a nice support for the floor. And it's going to be super strong. Now up here, we are going to add some more of this rectangular tubing. We're going to go a couple pieces crossways up there. Originally, all that had was a piece of 4-inch C-channel that laid flat on the bottom of the sheet of the bed. Now, years ago, we had a chunk of concrete that fell in here in the front corner, and it actually took the floor and that C-channel down, bent it down into the cylinder for the tailgate, the air cylinder. So I told Dad, I said, we are going to do the same thing we did here up there, because I want that just as strong up there as it is back here. Now actually, we're not going to go, we'll probably go at least 2 pieces up there. I don't think it's necessary to be as extremely as heavy as this is, but at least 2 pieces up there crossways. These are all going to stay, this original stuff, because that holds the box up for the cylinder. So we'll just notch around that with our floor sheet, slide it up on each side, and I'll weld it all the way around really good. And then I'm going to cut this back wall out and try to straighten that out a little bit and put a new piece of 1/2-inch plate like this on there and build a new cover for the top. I'll have to drill some holes and put some studs in with some nuts so that's removable so we can access the top of the cylinder. The rest of the front of the bed is all right. There's no really point in messing with it. Everything's still good and solid up there, so we're going to be good there. So, all right, let's see what else I can get into this afternoon. So, is it just me, or do other guys agree with me that are welders? The steel of today is not the steel that it used to be. You know, it seems like if you get an older piece of equipment from the 90s and you weld on it, the steel just melts like butter and gets such a beautiful weld. This newer stuff, it seems like it throws a lot of sparks, makes the welder spit and sputter a lot. No matter what you do for sitting wise, you just don't get that beautiful weld like you do from steel from, you know, the 80s, the 90s. Every time we bring a piece of older farm equipment in here or older excavating equipment in here, it's like it welds so nicely. I don't know if it's all in my head, or is there pockets of Honda Civic throughout this steel plate, or is it, you know, impurities in the steel that cause the issues? Because, like, you get so much spatter build up on your nozzle, and it just, I don't know, it drives me crazy. There's just some stuff you just get it to where it penetrates and you call it good enough, because, I mean, no matter what you do with the welder, and that's a Lincoln. You know, that's a 200 Lincoln, the old copper coil type welder, which were really good welders and still are good welders. I don't know. Now you can see like some of your inverter welders, sometimes they have a little trouble, but these old welders were always so bulletproof and they always made such beautiful welds. I don't know, I just look back at some of these welds and I'm like, what the heck, you know? And I've got my right motion. It's just, for some reason, it just doesn't look very good. I mean, they'll hold, but I mean, they're not an award-winning weld by no means. Take a wire wheel on them and they look a lot better than they do, because they get that, must be mill scale and whatever oil they put on them from, you know, the process of making them. But I don't know, just like you can see in the video that this weld in the light doesn't look the greatest, but it really doesn't look too bad when you get up on it and look at it. But leave comments in the below if you think that steel quality just isn't what it used to be. I'm kind of curious to see other guys' opinion on it. It just, I mean, it seems like 90-day difference on some stuff. I don't know why. But, alright, I'm going to get back to welding these. I got this space left to do. Dad's one shoulder's bothering him, so he doesn't like to weld up over his head. So he welds what he can, and then I come back and I weld the stuff up high. So not that my shoulders are in much better shape, I don't think, but all right, I'm gonna get back at it, see if I can get this side welded up and done for the day. All right, got this side all welded up. Everything looks really good. I'm sorry if some of you thought my big announcement was going to be that I was going to Con Expo this year. I know that's a pretty hot topic, but for me, shows aren't really, I don't know, I enjoy them. I'd really like to go to Con Expo at least once, but I'd also rather just stay here and make videos because I know there's a lot of you that really don't care for the show videos. And, you know, for me, it's like there's a lot of things there that I'll never be able to afford. I got to wait till it's about this age to own it, you know. So it's no big deal that I didn't go this year. And plus, I had a chance to go with like Komatsu to go there, and it put us too close to baby due date and the baby being here. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay. I'll go next year, or not next year. It's like every 3 years, I think. So I told Madison, I said, well, our baby will be 3 years old by the time it comes around the next time. I said, well, we'll just make it a family trip and we'll all go to Con Expo. So I think that's what we're going to do. So eventually I will get to go. But I know there's a lot of guys that like to go out there and flaunt their stuff, and that's just not me. So rather just stay here. And I got a lot of cool stuff coming up here as far as stuff to video. Clint at CNC Equipment, that guy is the nicest guy. And he actually sent me some video on how to reseal the track tensioners on the D8H a few weeks ago that he had recorded of the D7 that he's been working on, and showing me how to rebuild those without breaking the tracks. It's pretty good sized job to break the tracks on a D8H. So I'm going to get that up here. I want to get those resealed because we need that for the next stitch project. And he just so happened to release the whole video of that D7, I think it was yesterday when I was sitting at home with the baby. So it worked out pretty well. I got to watch the whole entire video and not just the video clips of breaking the tracks. So that answered some more questions I had. So thank you, Clint, for that. I really appreciate that. And for you guys that don't watch CNC Equipment, head over there and watch it. They've got some great video. Super nice guys. Got to meet Clint down in Louisville, Kentucky at the, that was the Utility Expo. I got to meet him. So super nice guys. Really like him. But anyways, I think I'm going to head home and see the baby, see Madison, see how they're doing, get some dinner. And I might go out in my shop and clean up just a little bit. I got a disaster in there from building a fuel skid for the Balmalite. I need to get that cleaned up and see the cat for a while. She hasn't seen me since I've been gone. But, oh, another cool thing coming. I know you've all seen the video of the stick that I jokingly said I was going to make an add-a-stick out of it. That's not going to be an add-a-stick. It's actually got a machine that carries it. So you'll see that coming up here pretty soon. Hopefully that'll be here real soon. Had a few complications along the way of a few loads popped up for the guy that's going to haul it for me, and I understand he had those were important loads he had to take. So kind of set getting it here a little back, but it will be here pretty soon. So getting real excited to show you guys that. And Brick, aka Tyler, is getting really excited about that video also. So I think we're all excited about that one. We got to get it here and do some work to it. Like my friend Clifton says, it would be not right for Brandon to buy a piece of equipment that doesn't need to be worked on. He said I'd have to check your temperature if you actually bought something that didn't have to be worked on. He said it's just not your way. I said you're right. I enjoy buying stuff I got to work on, because things that need work make good content. So anyways, thank you for watching. Greatly appreciate it. See you all in the next one. This will be part 2, and I'm sure there's going to be part 3 and 4. So once the guys are back, I can have them help me get these walls up, get them pulled together. We'll get the pieces cut for up there, and we'll continue on. So see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.